What's going on, everyone? This is Terry here, and I am sitting in my brand new 2021 Subaru Crosstrek. I've had this new car for about a week now, and I just gotta say, overall, love it. Big improvement over my 2013 Subaru Legacy. So basically, long story short, I was looking at some high cost repair bills for the Legacy, and then doing the math and looking at some upcoming changes over the next couple of years, it just made sense to buy a new car. So went buy a new car, and everything is good. The only minor inconvenience that I have with this vehicle is that there is not a very good place to store my cell phone when I'm driving. So I apologize for the camera quality and the shakiness. I'm using my iPhone in my car to do this. So let's go ahead and switch the cameras around so you can see what I'm talking about. I've made one improvement by just grabbing this short right angle cable, and overall it just kind of keeps things contained and shoved in there pretty well while I'm driving. That is a big improvement over just using a standard lightning cable that comes with your iPhone. The only problem with that one is now with this cable or that cable, it's still a two-handed thing to grab your phone and go when you're leaving the vehicle. So I'm going to do something I've never done before, and we'll see how this pans out. I'm going to call these lab challenges, and hopefully can continue this trend going forward. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some measurements of that little cubby there and go open up Tinkercad and try to design something and have it 3D printed.
Challenge accepted.
Going through and trying to measure just the inside tray piece of this thing, which it is attached to the center console thing, so the only way I can get this out is if I tore apart my entire center console, which I'm not going to do considering it's a brand new car. But as a part of this task, I did buy this little guy here, which not gonna lie, it's one of the cheaper ones on Amazon. I'll link it in the video if you're curious, but for the most part it has been doing a trick here to measure everything in millimeters. Just my only difficulties is some of the angles to get this all measured up here, but we'll see how this shakes out. Hopefully I can just leave enough room for error in the design here so there's a little bit of play for it to shake out, or this could be a fail. Let's find out. That's why it's a challenge. I've never done it, so let's see how it shakes out. We have made it to Tinkercad. All the measurements are done. I've played around with this start to finish. Overall, I assembled this model over 3 days, give or take, just chipping away at it after work type of a thing, and for the most part it went pretty smoothly. I did have a self-inflicted wound per se on designing this, because the most intricate part of it, I decided to do that on my Mac laptop instead of a Windows PC, so some of the controls were a little different, and definitely made that part a little bit more difficult than originally planned. But for the last 3 nights I only put in 1 to 2 hours per night, just kind of changing designs and playing around with the tools. So overall, let's just start at the beginning here. Why did I choose Tinkercad out of everything available? Short answer was it's simple and free. Since again, this is a net new thing, I've never designed anything before. I didn't want to have a steep learning curve of something like Fusion 360 or the other programs out there. So when I first found it, it was during lunch at work, and I was able to go through all the training stuff and getting used to the tool in less than half of my lunch time at work. So it was just really simple to pick up, use, and just run with it, instead of having to sit down like, okay, I got to do a week-long training course just to use a program. We have technically 5 pieces here. The main piece that will sit in my center console, ideally, cell phone in this open area here. Anything miscellaneous can sit over here. The overall height of this here should be lower than the car charger port that would be roughly here, and then lower than the USB ports that are on this side. I did have to incorporate a little 3mm lip all the way around it because of the edging of the rubber mat that's on the bottom of it, so I did go ahead and do that. The other part is basically I want this thing to function like a laptop dock, essentially. Just throw in your phone, it plugs in, take out your phone, it unplugs. So right off the bat, that told me that there's going to be some wear and tear on the pieces that hold the cable in place. So that's why I made this part completely separate instead of trying to build a form to hold a cable in the inside of this piece. So as you can see right here, we got a bottom piece, top piece. We'll go around the right angled cable that I purchased, and then these two dowels will go through these two holes, and then assuming I did my measurements correctly, this is the big if here on this challenge, everything will in theory line up, and then these dowels will just hold this in place as I'm plugging in and unplugging the phone, getting in and out of my car. Overall, I did start shopping on vendors to do this, and there was a moment where I thought that this challenge was going to kind of die on the spot, because in the model here, when you go to export and then go to 3D print, it has, send to my printer, and then some of these are specific vendors for 3D printers that if you purchased it, you can go in and just select it and send it, and it's all kind of automated. But since I don't have a 3D printer, I was looking for let's use a service piece to see if I like doing this design type of a thing. So first I went to print a thing just out of randomness. And then when I went there, you can see, $110. Got it down to 40. At first, the first things I chose here was like 71. It's like, all right, that's a little steep. We're getting into the realm of I could have started just buying a printer. Then I tried iMaterialize, and similar thing, $132, and then you can flip through all their types, and you can see it ranges from 117 all the way up to 800, almost 2,000. Granted, I don't need an aluminum cell phone holder, but so luckily, third time's a try. Your third try is the... And found treat stock here and just started playing around with different types and saw the prices come back down through different vendors that are near my area here. So my plan at this point is to do the cheapest option here as kind of a prototype test run to make sure I did the complicated stuff right, of mainly these holes. Make sure that this form fits around the cable correctly and that all these holes line up. Just make sure that's good. And then, since I have a feeling based off of all the research I've done on PLA and the infill being super low and all that stuff, this first prototype is not going to hold up long term. So I will go ahead after the prototype is confirmed good, and this will all be in part 2. Go ahead and order either ABS plastic one or something a little bit stronger, just to make it last longer. Not necessarily spend, like in this case, $300, but somewhere in the middle there for like a good durable stand that you would pay, or a good durable car accessory that you'd pay to have for like the lifetime of the vehicle. It is now time for me to put my money where my mouth is, so I'm going to go ahead and order that prototype print and then wait for it to come in. Rough time estimate, a week, give or take. So in the meantime, go ahead and leave your comments below saying, am I going to fail? Is it going to work? Am I completely wrong already because you're more experienced in 3D printing than I am? Just let me know. Just leave them down below. While you're down there, go ahead and subscribe and click the notification bell, so when part 2 of this comes out with all the nitty-gritty details on costs and testing and everything good and bad about this process, you are notified. Then after that, go ahead and follow us on Facebook and Twitter at TD Sheridan Lab, or at our website, tdsheridanlab.com. See you later.